Right after Suzanne and I got married, by the way, my father proposed to Suzanne for me, and you'll read one of our other posts and it'll tell you in detail about how he proposed for me to Suzanne. Anyway, to make a short story long, I'm going to tell you about the television marathon. And one day, a Friday, the RCA salesman came to the store and told my father that he could get him an excellent deal on a truckload of televisions, VCRs, and stereos. And my father's like, wow, this is a great deal. I've got to have it. And so it was already Friday evening, and he told my mother after the salesman had left that he'd ordered a truckload of televisions and stereos and VCRs. And she said, Bruce, you can't do that. You're going to have to call him first thing Monday morning and cancel that. It's just not possible. I was like, why? She says, she takes him back into the back room and says, look, we've got a stock room full of televisions that aren't paid for. A stock room with about 60 VCRs here and stereos galore. Well, I don't know how many of any of these there were, but it was full. The stock room was full of electronics, and we had an ample supply out on the showroom floor as well. Well, the next morning I was eating in the Waffle King, as I was wont to do on Saturday mornings. I was eating in the Waffle King, and he came in and he said, David, get your riding breeches on. I said, what? And he told me that we had to sell every electronic device in the store by sundown, or by the time the store closed. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I went to the store and I loaded in half of all the inventory of the VCRs of each type that we had. About 5,000 foot of antenna wire, half the stock of all the different antenna connectors, my toolbox, and a few other things, and some crackers. Anyway, he said, when you get to the first place, when you get done to the first place, call and I'll tell you where to go next. I'm like, okay, well, you're kind of confident. Anyway, one of the easiest way to get my father to do anything was to tell him he couldn't do it for whatever reason, and then he'd come hell or high water, he'd have to do it. Anyway, so my mother told him that he couldn't have these unless he sold everything, and so he's, come hell or high water, he was going to sell every electronic in the store. Well, the way the day went, I'd go to one place, install a VCR, install a stereo, install a television. And back then, the reason I had to go and install these and not just deliver them, because this was at the time when they were just switching over to cable-ready televisions, and not many people understood cable-ready televisions, and you had to program them, and it wasn't a simple procedure. And on VCRs, of course, you had to program them in. Their whole tuner package had to be programmed in, and that wasn't a simple procedure as well. Nowadays, they have these auto tunes and that type of thing, and it's just simple, and you don't even see VCRs anymore. But anyway, it was a fairly complicated process, and this type of electronics was fairly new to the town of Iva anyway. Anyway, so I would go to one place, set up a stereo, set up a VCR, set up a television, maybe all or several. At one place it was 3 televisions, 3 VCRs, and an antenna. And I would arrive, and there would be a television that had been delivered by one of the trucks at the store, maybe several televisions, maybe a television, VCR, stereo, and in some cases there was antenna poles and a ladder laying on the ground when I got there. And I'd call, and my father would say, you install this, and then you go on to such and such. So it went that way all day. Both trucks were going, old red Chevrolet truck that just barely ran at that time, but he had made it. And the 2-ton truck, which was a Ford, and my Uncle Carl delivering all he could in his car, and just everywhere I went, it's just constant, boom, 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 one right after the other. Stopped by the store. Suzanne had fixed me a sandwich to have for the day, and I grabbed the sandwich and ate it between stops, and went on and delivered and set up, and delivered and set up, and at the end of the day, about 3 hours after the store officially closed, I made it back to the store, and my father's there, and he'd sold everything. The only electronics still in the store were the coffee pot that we used for making coffee there for employees at the store, the calculators that we used, and some of the telephones. Not all the telephones were electronic, but the only electronics were those. He'd sold an old traded-in TV that didn't work. He sold a couple of other traded-in TVs that did work. Everything, down to the bare walls. He even sold the display for one of the video discs. The display, it was in the whole shooting match video disc player, the television that was with it, the display itself. Went out to this one gentleman's house, and it was just amazing. And my father got his truckload of televisions, and it was a challenge, and I think everybody was glad that we participated in it. My wife Suzanne and my mother just spent all day writing contracts and getting them figured out. And my father spent all day selling, and the shop guys that spent most of the day out delivering, and my uncle spent his whole day out delivering, and it was just amazing. Anyway, that's one of the things that I think about when I think about my father. He was an amazing salesman. He was a terrible businessman in the respect that he couldn't deal with inventory control. But that's a complicated thing in the world of small business, and if that's your only fault, then hey, that's no problem. We offset one another. It worked out pretty good. We had a great day. It was wonderful, and it's just a loving memory of my father, Papa Bruce. We miss you, Pops, and know you're having a great time up there in heaven. You're probably selling left and right. You have a great day, and we miss you. This is a Federal Trade Commission required notice. When you click on an advertisement that is displayed with this video, or just before it, we receive a small commission. Sometimes, if you merely watch an ad, we receive commission. If you purchase anything by clicking on links on any of our websites, we receive a commission as well. These great redneck coffee mugs are available at www.cafepress.com/redneckforpresident. We receive a commission off of them as well. You can also purchase buttons, yard signs, etc. from that website. McClendon Studios is a participant in the Amazon Services LLC Associates Program, an affiliate advertising program designed to provide a means for sites to earn advertising fees by advertising and linking to Amazon.
We have a new book. Many people want to know if homeschooling will work for them. This book may help you answer that question. You can find it on Amazon.com. Suzanne has written a great book of poetry. It is called Shattered. You can find it on Amazon.com.